So Hollywood did not put up a fight this year when it came to contract negotiations. In fact, I think most of the unions wound up with a 4-year deal. And I'm going to tell you why they didn't put up much of a fight, because the last time they put up a fight, a bunch of them wound up unemployed. A bunch of actors, writers, directors wound up unemployed because Hollywood contracted. It shrunk. It replaced them with AI, or didn't replace them at all. They definitely used the opportunity, the studios used the opportunity to downsize, and they're not going to mess around. And I really thought for a while that they were this year. I thought we were going to possibly have another strike, which would have been tragic, I think, for a lot of just working class actors who got cut up in all this nonsense a couple of years ago. And now they're doing everything they can do to make ends meet. Some of them are working at Lowe's. Some of them are, moving out of state. They're retraining for other careers because they have to, because Hollywood has imploded. It has. And it's not going to get better. I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. We're looking at the box office this year, at least on the movie end, and it looks like things are not great. A lot of these big budget productions are huge flops. Mandalorian and Grogu, Masters of the Universe, even though we like both of those movies, and you can check our reviews. We actually did like both of those movies okay, but they cost a lot of money. They didn't get a return on their investment. We're looking at the live action Moana is not going to get a return on its investment. Hollywood studios are moving more and more production. Again, if it's not AI, they're moving out of state because it costs too damn much. And so you're going to take what you can get, basically. And this might be the last round of union negotiations. I think the end goal of this is that the unions will probably be disbanded because there's not going to be much of a purpose for them, because I think a lot of people are going to cut deals individually, because we've seen what happens with the unions. I mean, and look, and I've said before, and I feel like I have to restate it again for the umpteenth time for those of you who are not listening. Because we had some people like doing a video on us a couple of years ago saying that we were advocating for actors to like be punched in the head or something. That's some stupid crap like that. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Would never do that. Would never do that on this channel. But the thing is that we've seen what happens if you toe the line. A lot of times you wind up cutting off your nose to spite your face for other people who aren't going to give you any crumbs. A lot of these people stood in the picket lines thinking they were going to get something. They were going to get better working conditions, more gigs, something. They were promised something. The people in the union got theirs. They got more money. A handful of their pets got more gigs, but the vast majority of people were not better off. You ask Hollywood writers now if they're better off now than they were 5 years ago. And the answer for most people is going to be a resounding no. And now it looks like everything's changing, that YouTubers can come in and make movies for under $1 million and make millions and millions of dollars at the box office. So everything is changing. It's not going to be necessary, I don't think, to belong to a union like it was in the past. Everything is different. Everything has been upended. And this is kind of the last gasps, I think, of the traditional studio system. And keep in mind, too, that, half of Hollywood is going to be owned by the Ellisons pretty soon. Given their politics, I don't think they're going to be really into unions. I'm just saying. I have a hunch. But let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV and more episodes and podcasts you will not find anywhere else. They're paywalled, but we do what we got to do over here. This is the way it works. YouTube's not helping anybody these days. Check out the audio version of Clownfish TV on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. There we are. There's a bunch of new episodes today. We usually post about 3 or 4 episodes a day. So, and we try to keep them under 20 minutes. So if you guys are commuting to work, check out the audio version of Clownfish TV. All right, so I got to give a hat tip to Mac, who sent this over this morning. So thank you for that. This comes from the Hollywood Reporter. Why Hollywood's unions didn't put up a fight with the studios this year. It said, what a difference 3 years makes. While 2023 marked the spiciest year in recent memory for Hollywood labor, with 2 major unions going on strike for more than 100 days each, 2026 was perhaps the sleepiest. On Tuesday, to little fanfare and with scant public sniping, the Directors Guild of America became the last union to seal a deal in 2026 with Hollywood studios and streamers, while the pact, whose details have yet to be released, is still tentative and could theoretically be rejected by its national board of members in a ratification vote. No one expects them to. DGA isn't exactly known for its fiery nature. Yeah, they actually, the DGA did not get involved that much in the strikes last time, if I remember correctly. But they said, yeah, there have been some low-key negotiations this year. SAG-AFTRA negotiations uneventful despite the fireworks that some expected from its generative AI discussions. SAG-AFTRA, yeah, they really did kind of fold pretty quick. The WGA, the biggest controversy with the WGA is how they treated their own people. The WGA talks were very chill for a union whose 2007-2008 strike saw members form the words WGA with their bodies for news helicopters. That's just one of many examples. Yeah, I blame Adam Conover. Adam ruins everything. And actually, I would never join. I would never join the WGA. I would join the other unions before I would join the WGA, because they were going after members that they thought were maybe possibly writing during the strikes, and they were trying to kick them out and get them blacklisted from Hollywood. I'm like, that's insane. That's stupid. Meanwhile, again, YouTubers are going to come along and they're going to eat your lunch, and a lot of them don't belong to the union. So what's the point when you can make a movie for under $1 million like Obsession and make tens of millions of dollars every week? Why would you join a union? The year was relatively peaceful, even though all the unions agreed to unusually long deal terms of 4 years rather than 3. Yes, this is unprecedented. I don't think people realize how big of a deal this actually is. And the reason they're doing it is a bird in the hand. Basically, they want to lock it down. They want to lock the studios down while the studios are still willing to play ball, because in 3 to 4 years' time, given the rate that everything is changing, they may not be so generous. And I really do think we are looking at the last gasps of the Hollywood unions as we know them, because they're already trying to expand. They're already trying to get podcasters. They're trying to get YouTubers, because they know the ecosystem is changing, and so many people are out of work in Hollywood right now. It's so bad in Hollywood right now that, you've got a bunch of people not paying dues, and if they're not paying dues, they're not bankrolling the union, and you've got studios cutting back on productions, so you got to get the money from someplace. So I think everything is going to change very rapidly. Basically, beggars can't be choosers. That's it. They said so far their members have not rebelled against the strategy. They're basically taking what they can get. What made this year so mellow, the top factor perhaps, was the ongoing fallout from Hollywood's contraction. It's no small thing that since 2022, studios have tightened their belts and downsized their slates, reducing the job opportunities available for average industry workers. Corporate consolidation that resulted in significant layoffs like the merger of Paramount Global and Skydance Media in 2025 hasn't helped matters any. So some of the biggest backlash we've ever gotten on this channel was a video we did, had Luke Skywalker in the thumbnail. I remember that. We said, this isn't going to go the way you think it's going to go. When they were going to do double strikes, I'm like, this is not 2008. Studios have options, and they're building arcs. They're building life rafts right now. They're planning for a Hollywood that can run without you, basically, right? I mean, they'll have humans involved, but they're planning different escape routes. They're never going to allow the double strike thing to cripple Hollywood again. And it did. It crippled Hollywood. But they also, I think, wanted this outcome because they wanted to be able to shut down a lot of unprofitable stuff, shut down shows, shut down movies. They greenlit a lot of things that weren't going to perform. They knew it, so they took the opportunity to buy people out. Shrink the writing room, shrink the episode orders. They knew streaming was not going to last at that point. And they're like, well, if these dummies want to go on strike, then we can just use that as an excuse to cancel half the projects in Hollywood. And that's what they did. Like, they played you. They played you. And your union leaders let you get played. And now we've got people working at Lowe's, working at Lowe's or whatever, which is fine. Because it's consistent income, but they're not working in Hollywood anymore. A lot of people not working in Hollywood. We've been in contact with a lot of folks writing us saying they have to move. And these are below the line workers that were affected too. It's not just the actors, it's not just the writers. And, I wasn't sitting here rubbing my hands together and being like, serves you right, bitches. But I told you how it was going to go. And I told you what the studios are probably thinking based on conversations we've had. And they were fully prepared to go nuclear, the nuclear option, push the button. That's what they did. Because at this point, the actors and the writers need the studios more than the studios need them. And that is the uncomfortable truth. Things have changed, right? The power dynamic is much more in the favor of the studios, especially the ones that are rushing right now to get in on AI or, set up outsourcing in other countries. People are watching more and more Japanese anime, Korean dramas. People are watching old shows, I mean, they're not watching a lot of the new stuff. Very rare is it that, Netflix or, especially one of the networks, ABC, NBC, very rare is it to hear that they have a huge hit now. It's not like it used to be with must-see TV where, oh my God, every Thursday everybody had to watch, Friends and Cheers and all that stuff. Nobody cares. Not like they used to. There are lots of options out there. And they knew it. And they wanted to save money, and they let you guys blow yourselves up. And that's exactly what happened. And now people across the board are paying the price for it. Some of them are losing their homes, losing their careers. Was it worth it? I don't know. An Otis College of Art and Design report in 2025 found that between 2022 and 2025, entertainment jobs in LA fell by 25%. What? The Wall Street Journal reported that employment in the business has dropped 30% since late 2022. I think it's worse than that. In a precarious industry environment, unionized entertainment workers were in no position to risk another strike. Oh my God, if only someone could have told you this was going to be the most likely outcome. You can only push your employer so far if you have the proper bargaining posture. If all the balls are in your court, if you've got all the balls in your hand and they absolutely positively need you and they need what you're offering, then you can ask for the moon, because what other choice do they have? They have lots of choices now, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get so much worse. So yeah, the Rachel Zeglers and all these other actors and actresses out there saying dumb shit, blacklisting themselves, they don't need you. And if you're a problem, they will step over you, right? That's the uncomfortable reality of it. And this isn't to be anti-union. This isn't to be like, oh my gosh, the studios are so great. No, actually, I think a lot of them are cold, bloodthirsty corporations. But I'm telling you, the power dynamic is not there. You don't have the leverage you had 10 years ago. And people know it. And if you're going to continue to work in the entertainment business in any capacity, you're going to have to learn to cut your own deals. And you're probably going to have to settle for less, because that's just the nature of it. Because if you won't, somebody else will. What's more, 2 of the 3 unions that went into the bargaining table in 2026 needed vital funding for their health plans. As humans get sick. It's kind of a unfortunate side effect of being a human. As work slowed down over the past few years and healthcare inflation took its toll, the WGA health plan lost $122 million in 2023 and 2024 fiscal years. Meanwhile, the DGAs lost $43 million during that time. According to tax filings, a union can only get so aggressive when it's holding its hands out, asking for a major investment in critical benefit plans relied upon by many. And with their easygoing approach this year, the WGA at least received a $321 million infusion into its health plan. Healthcare is incredibly expensive. A couple of years ago, we were paying, I'm not even kidding, for a small nuclear family, we were paying out of pocket like $2,000 a month. It's insane. People that have health insurance, decent health insurance through their employers or whatever, you don't realize how good you have it. If you're self-employed, it is brutal. It is so bad right now. Their personalities, they said AmpTip had a new leader at the table. Union negotiators say they saw a difference They just weren't as aggressive. They said the big difference in 2026 is the AMP tip came ready to talk about what we really needed and what they needed. Sean Astin, they have Sam in there. So Goonies say die, I guess, pretty damn quick. But yeah, he helped reset the relationship between the organizations. Everybody else was being kind of an asshole. I don't think Adam Conover was involved this time. But yeah, that's basically what's going on. I mean, the reality is that Hollywood cannot afford to pay these people what they wanted anymore. Hollywood is going broke. That's why they buckled. And you're going to take what you can get because the pickings are slim, right? So I don't know. We'll see if they learned any lessons. I have no idea. Just be grateful if you are working in the entertainment industry, if you're blessed enough to still have a job in the entertainment industry. Do not take it for granted and do not blow yourself up. Do not tank your movies. Do not tank your projects. Do not say stupid shit for likes and upvotes on social media because none of that at the end of the day matters. We've seen things track incredibly well on social media that did not perform at the box office. And, is it worth it to have a bunch of upvotes that you can't spend, that you can't eat? When you're staring down a $500,000 medical expense, are all the upvotes going to help you? I don't think so. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.